Hi everyone, I'm Marcie Besecker and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up and I am from Clovis, California. Thank you for joining me today. I want to play with the Frosted Pinecone bundle, which is this one here. And you get the stamp set, the dies, and then you also get the stencils or masks. I'm used to calling them stencils, but they call them masks. And I just dropped them, so they fell out of order. So like this, and I keep these in my behind my dies in the same folder. But I had a lot of people asking me about what colors do I use, that they've tried getting their pine cones to look good, or get something that they like, and they haven't been able to find it. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try and work on it and show it. Now I'm trying to get am I frozen for you guys? I am frozen for me, but I also refreshed my YouTube, so I want to make sure I'm not frozen. Okay, it doesn't look like I am. Okay, anyway, so I thought I'd share with you what I did. It was funny, when I was first asked, I didn't have the set with me because my die cut angel, Stephanie, had it because the pine cones are in bingo. So that's all I can say. It's not the techniques that we're doing today, because if you don't have this set, you don't need it for bingo. Okay. And so my husband is probably just getting home right now, and he's probably going to walk in here. So be prepared. He's going to be like, oh, okay. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Okay, it's fine on your end. I think it was just on my end because I was trying to refresh. And anyway, hi, Joan. Welcome. So let's jump in and get started. Oh, first, let's do our business stuff. Bingo is next Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm trying to remember what sets we're using. They're all done and ready to go. We will be using the Spooktacular paper on a card and doing something really fun with that. We're going to be using the set, I want to say Noel tidings, the ones with the houses. Really cute. We're going to use that. We're using the Frosted Pinecones. We are using the stocking set, but a lot different. It's not going to look patchwork. It's a way to use the stocking a different way that I liked. So I'm going to show you something kind of fun with that. And then, then there's a 3D item that I'm super excited to share with you. And that I'm using all wrapped up. I think that's it. I've already started next month's. So far, next month's has, oh no, you know what? I think I have 2 3D items for you this month. Now I'm trying to remember if it's this month that has 2 or next month that has 2. But one of the items I'm super excited about. So, and it's the sunflower set. So anyway, we're going to be using some fun stuff. So I'm hoping you join me for bingo. There's a link below. It is next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Okay, so if you're not able to make bingo, trust me, you're going to want these cards. They're super cute. And I think for $43, you're going to get the video for all the cards, and you'll get the kits for everything. All right, so let's show you that. That's the 19th at 5 o'clock. There are 4 $100 prizes up for grabs on that. Also, the September to December paper share. There was one person that got a link somewhere for an old paper share. And that is, I emailed you. So please check and make sure that you are getting the correct paper share. The person, your name starts with an N, and that you're signed up for the wrong paper share. So I sent you an email. I haven't got a response, but I'm going to refund your money today. and then put a note in your refund for your PayPal, and hopefully you'll get it. And I'm sure my email's probably in the junk or something, but I want you to be aware so you can sign up for the correct one if you are interested. Don't forget too, the Paper Craft Collective Design Team. I am now a part of that group, and it is growing, and we have lots of fun, awesome projects that we're doing each month. And so this one we are doing fun for fall. So with a $50 purchase from me, you will get an email back with the tutorial in it. Or you can purchase it for $20. And there's a link also below that you can participate in that. And the upcoming September is going to be the painted pumpkins. And October is winter adventures. So I hope you will join this collaborative groups tutorial, and you'll receive that from me. All right. So somebody asked a question. Can I ask if you had any luck with your twinkling? It came in the mail yesterday. I have not had a chance to play with it. It's the new one. But what I will tell you is somebody mentioned to take the shim out. So the greenish color one, take the shim out and just put a piece of cardstock in it, and it works great. So I'm going to try it without that method, and then I'm going to try it with that method and see how it works. So I will be working on that, and maybe I'll show you, in addition to whatever I'm doing on Monday, what I came up with. So stay tuned on Monday, because I did just get that in the mail yesterday. Oh, you guys are talking about swimming. I want to swim. Okay, so let's get busy. But first, I want to show you these because two of these are colors we're using, and these are the new ink spots. I haven't opened them because they just came today. When we did our pre-order, they weren't available, and so I thought, ooh, I'm gonna try these and open them up. So we have. I wanted to see. They're not magnetic. The color is on the top, so they're just like our stamp pads with the same material, and they close nicely. I like that they're bigger. I like that a lot. We might as well look at them all. Make sure we have our ink. Yep, everything's there. And this one. So we have cherry cobbler, mossy meadow, and pecan pie. And did you hear that these are going to start showing up in your paper pumpkins, I think, starting in September. So in September, you will get one of the new ink spots. So let me see if I have a small one. Well, I have one of the ones you make here. So this is the difference. So this is a black one that I made because sometimes I like to just use this instead of the full ink pad, especially if I'm traveling. But anyway, so these are super cool. I'm excited about them. They stack, which is one of the things I wanted to find out. So very nice. I will probably, I don't know. I don't think I need to label them. Because they're little, so I'll probably have them out like that when I'm going to use them. They're tiny. I like the full size a lot more. I think small ones will last me very long. Yeah, I like this size for traveling though, because but much better I think than the little ink spots, because you don't get your fingers on them as much. So I think that these will be nice to travel with. So we'll see. I just got them, so I haven't really worked with them or tried them yet. But I think instead of having another full set of inks, if I'm traveling, that might be a good idea. All right, so let's get started. First thing I showed you guys, and I wish I had the packaging, but I don't. I've had this one for a long time. I need to order more. But these are the Sizzix double-sided. They're just like sticky, and I love them because you can just put them right here on your pad. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the color first. Then the picture that I have posted is some different ideas that I've used for the pine cones, so I'll show you those. For this, you can take one of these and you can do your folders like this. You know, I did one right here, and now I'm going to do one right here on this. But we're going to use a large one just so we have space and so you can see it a little bit better. And it's just easier to do, to be on screen to do it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put that on here. And I'm going to lay that down. And the first thing I'm going to do is, oh, let's not do that yet. We need to stamp. Oh, no, we don't stamp this. This is purely the masks is what we're doing. So we don't even need the stamp. The only thing what we're going to need is this die right here to cut it out. So we'll just set that right there. All right. So the first thing I do is I'm going to put my 2 silicone mats. One is to clean off my, oh, let me lift this up just a little bit so you can see. Let's see. All right, we're going to lift this up just a little bit so that you can see, because I think showing you how to clean it off and all that good stuff is important too. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start with pecan pie. So we're going to put this one right here. I'm going to get my brown brush. The last color I used on this was Early Espresso. So I'm going to wipe that off. Okay, so I'm going to get as much as I can off of that. And now we're going to start with pecan pie. So now what we need is we're going to go through our mask. If you haven't used them, they're numbered and they have a little notch right there. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to set it right here so you can see. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to put the notch right there so I can see where it's going to go. Hello, Canada. All right, we went to Victoria on our last trip and it was so nice. It was so much fun. I had fun shopping. I got maple syrup. I got maple syrup flavored or maple flavored tea. I have not tried it yet, but I'm very excited to. All right, so then I get my repositionable tape and I just add. Now, I don't always do this, but I'm going to this time. Sometimes I just hold it. And now you got to think about the colors that you want. How dark do you want your pine cone? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to get some pecan pie. I still hold it pretty firmly just because that tape, you know, it can move. And I start off and then we're just going to go on. I hope you guys are getting your product of the month. That paper is gorgeous. In fact, the item that I made with my sunflower paper, I think I'm going to do it with the product of the month paper too, because I love it and it's so pretty. And so I think I'm going to do that. All right, so this will be your lightest layer. Okay, so when you start with your mask, your first template is usually your lightest. So you want to go think about how light you want it. And make sure it's fairly even, like the tips over here. I want to make sure I get them a little darker. Okay, and I think that is good enough. You can go too dark, which I've done. So you just kind of think, you know, which ones you want to do. Oh, good, you guys are getting your paper. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, so now we're going to use the same color, but we're going to pick this up. So this is what I do. I pick this up. As soon as I find my pokey tool, it's a little easier. I don't want to really move it and get it to be on my project. So now we're going to take this tape off. We're going to lay this over here. And what I do is I take a baby wipe and I wipe around the best I can and get most of the color off because that's where most of it's at. And then I just kind of do this, okay, and get most of it off. Then I take a dry towel and we're doing mostly around the outside, okay. And now I come Get the inside. It's just less to get all over. Yeah, you got to be careful of your little pieces there. And then I'll turn this over, and it's pretty dry. But what I do is I take my baby wipe and I just kind of make sure that there's no color, because there's nothing like laying this on your next project and there be ink back here on the back. All right, and then I look at it just to make sure, because you'll see it kind of bubble up, and where you need to wipe it off again. Okay, so then I just move that over. So I clean as I go, because this gives this a little bit of a chance to dry too. Okay, make sure that's number 2, and it is. So I first line it up here. Then I take it and I just kind of, you might need to move it just a tiny bit. Like this needed to be over and that needed to be over that way. So it needed to turn like that just a little bit. I'm still up there fine. And now I'm going to tape that. And close works. It doesn't have to be exactly. All right. So now we're going to do pecan pie again. And now we need a little more ink. All right. So you're going to see that I'm doing it a little bit darker. A little more chocolatey looking. Because you definitely want a difference in color. But I don't want it super dark, because we still have another darker layer coming. Okay, now I make sure my edges are all nice and dark, that kind of blend in there. And it is. Where's my... Okay, pokey tool. I could not have lost it. Oh. All right, so see the difference on the pine cone? Before stamping the pine cone, sorry, you were doing the blending with stamping. Yeah, I'm not even stamping on this one. This one I'm not stamping. We'll do the next one and we'll stamp it. But the ones I've done, I have not stamped yet. And I'm sure it does align with the stamping it usually does, but I've not even done that yet. I was mostly focusing on colors when I started doing this. I just wanted to make sure that my colors were kind of coming out how I wanted them. And luckily, it came out the first try, because I had an idea, mainly because I did pine cones a couple years ago and I kind of knew which colors I liked. So that's kind of what I did. All right, so 2 layers you're going to do of pine cones. Okay, so now you're going to come back in with number 3, and I want early espresso. And I don't have to clean this off because we're going to a darker brown. So we're going to line that up again. And you're going to see some edges that are white that you're going to know that you need to kind of move it just a little bit, even though the mask does not line up exactly. And you don't want that. You want that darker look on there. All right, so we're going to go with early espresso. Again, I start off and then I'm going to go on. Now this one you want dark. Of course, that's why we're using a darker color. And I'll show you some images that I've already done. And I used a little bit, maybe not so dark of all the colors on some. And I did some different techniques on it too. So I'll show you what I did. All right, so that is, well, I think I need a little bit right here. There we go. Now we're going to lift this one off. Okay, look at how pretty that is. Let me show you. So that's what we've got so far. All right, well, I'll come closer now because you get the idea of me cleaning my mats. So that's basically all I keep doing is I just wipe them off best you can. Wipe your silicone mat off, wipe the back side. Don't get your tape wet. I just like to make sure that everything is dry and clean. And it's really nice because when you're done, you can start your next project already. Your things are already all done. All right, so that's it for early espresso. You have one color there, okay? Now, I wanted warm, so I went with this dark, I went with Mossy Meadow. All right, so now we're going to come in with mask number 4, and it's your greenery. So we're going to put that here. Oh, where's my tape? All right, so we're going to come in with mask number 4, and all I do is kind of look at this round circle right here and this one over here, and as long as it covers most of your image right there, I'm fine with that. Let's see. And then that will also leave your mark right there. Okay. All right, now make sure you switch out your color. So I'm just going to take my brown and take it off. And so again, I just took off a lot of that dark, so that way I can put it away. All right, so now we have green. So we're going to do our Mossy Meadow. Start off and come on, and I do it pretty dark. I just inked my Mossy Meadow, so I wanted it dark. Because you're only doing one layer of your green, one color. And so I wanted to get it on here and make it pretty dark. All right, I think that's good. We'll move that. I think there was some brown left on here. Now, all right, so that is what it looks like with when you add your Mossy Meadow. Now, I love it just like that. That is what I really like, is you can actually see everything really well. I need a new baby wipe because that one is full of brown and green. The next one is the next mask is the one you really want to pay attention. See now, see how there's green all right there? You want to really make sure you, even if you just kind of tap it so that you don't get, these can catch really easy, so you want to be careful. All right. That is pretty good. That one. Okay, so green is done. Now, let me show you the different things that I did. So let me show you first, coming in close. Let me see if I can pick it up in the color. See, and I like having extra because if you go off, you don't have to worry about it. So there's, look at that. You have your brown branch. You have your leaves. Nancy, that is my job. So, and then you can tell like where the early espresso, I mean, even just the tiniest dots of the early espresso just adds so much detail to this. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's gorgeous like it is, but let me show you. See, my sticky's still on here, so we're going to lay that back down. And I have an idea, but let me show you what I've done so far. So the first one I did, let me find a darker piece of paper so you can kind of see. The first one I did is this one. And what I did is I took a dauber and I put the multi-purpose glue, the green glue, and I just put it all over in this mask. If you look, this mask is the pine cone and the branches, okay? Because this is called frosted pine cone. So I added this, and then I added rock candy on top because I have a bunch of this. I think I told you guys before, Tim Holtz actually sent me these. So I have 2 big bottles like this. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to add rock candy on it and get it to glitter. Well, it's okay. It's pretty. I love the glitter, but it's not what I was looking for. So I was like, okay, not my favorite. Then I did this one, and I used our shimmer paste. So I put this on, and I did our shimmer paste. And it kind of has a greenish yellow kind of color. So that's not what I really wanted either. Then I did this one with our regular paste. And I do like this. It does bring up the lighter colors on the tips, but I think I did it too soon and too much, and I was picking up a lot of the color underneath, so it's not as white as I would like. So I did this one, which is pretty dark, a little darker than what I wanted. So I'm going to cut this one out, but I did this one and I let it dry. So we're going to do both of these. See how much darker that one is? We're going to do both of them, and I'm going to see, because I have an idea how to do it lighter. But let me tell you another secret. The glue was okay. It was kind of messy. You want to die cut this first. Another reason I like to have the bigger paper is because if you have the bigger paper, then you can use that paper as a template, that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this one, take that off. We'll put that back down because we're going to use it still. All right. Let me grab this and die cut it real fast. These pine cones are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. I just need to figure out about putting the white on it, how I can get it to do what I want it to do. However, I am perfectly okay leaving them just like this also, because it is just so pretty. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this, I'm going to move it a little closer to me so I can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to put that closer. I'm going to put that right here. And now you want to put this back in because it's just easier to have your paper. Now you're going to ignore that probably. And we're going to just lay this right back in. And it's just easier to have that extra, and it picks up all your mess too. And we're going to, you don't have to ignore it because it's going in the same spot. But what I want to do is I want to do our white. This is the shimmer one. I don't want the shimmer one. I don't want the rock candy. So I'm moving these out of the way. And we're just going to go with our paste. But I'm not going to go over and over and over like I did. I was trying to make it smooth. Let's see, I was thinking about using the sparkle paste. Yeah, the sparkle one is what gives you this. And it kind of gives you a greenish-y tone to it with that sparkle. I wish our sparkle was clear, like more iridescent. Thanks, Charm. A thumbs up would be amazing, you guys. Thank you. All right, so here's our paste. I like to keep this as closed as possible so that it stays moist and easier to use, of course. All right, we're gonna put that on right there. Add the tape. Okay, Let's see. And you want to make sure it's flat. So make sure you have it where you want it before you add your tape on there. You get it to go exactly where you want. All right, there we go. Okay, and so you're going to notice on some of the branches that there's spaces, and that's fine because snow kind of goes everywhere, right? What if you use the glimmer of... See, I thought about that too. I thought about actually on this one, the one that didn't have any sparkle, but just the clear paste, if I added Wink of Stella on it because it is clear. But we'll play with this one because that would be a good one to add it to. Or this one. But this one's got to dry. So we'll use that one because I did that one last night. All right, so let's get our paste. And we're going to do it smooth. Okay, so I'm going to lay it. You want to hold this down. I'm going to start up here and just go straight over and try not to keep going over other than making it smooth. Okay, see how I'm kind of just going down and not going over and over other than trying to make it... I want to make sure I have it everywhere. Okay, there we go. That is pretty darn smooth right there. And yes, I do. I put this back in. I'm not going to waste it. It's clear. There's no color on it. I'm good. All right, where's my darn... Here it is. All right, so let's lift this up. Okay, we're going to put that over here because we definitely need to clean this. Let's clean our spatula. This is, just let it sit there and dry. It's fine. I'm going to clean our spatula. All right, and then we're going to take this off because this will harden and get yucky. So let's clean this off real fast. And this is harder to clean off. Not as hard as glue, but it's not just the ink. So make sure you clean it off really well. Turn your towel. I'm even getting a new one because I don't want it all over my fingers. And then be careful of going back and forth too much. These ones are good. These are a little more delicate. All right, I'm going to open that. Now see, you've got this mess right here. So I'm going to wipe that off. Turn, do the back side. Then your tissue, you might get some tissue on there. All right, let's dry this. I just kind of pat that dry. I'm going to do this one more time. I just try to go with the stencil, whichever way it's kind of like up here, it goes down. All right, that looks pretty good. So that's good. All right, so now this is going to dry. So we're going to pick this up. All right, that was just your mask. So we don't need that. And I'm going to take this and get it off of our, but see how it's brown? I think it just picks it up, but I really like how that looks. And this is how the last one was, because I really went over it and over it and over it and tried to make it flat. And I should have, and see how the branches are green over here now, but it's lifted. You can see like a layer. It's kind of hard to tell the layer on there. So it's really cool with that. Or even using an embossing pen where you just want to use a little sparkle embossing powder. I love the paste on the Pinecone. It looks like snow. Yeah, I do like this. I wish it was a little whiter, but I actually really like the look of these. Even if it's not snow, you can tell it's got something going on. These, not so much. This was just a whole lot of glitter, and it kind of mutes the image, I think, too much. This one, I liked if it was clear glitter and not that color on it. All right, so we did that. Now we're going to pull this one in. No, this one. This one's the dried one. And so let's play with this, and we'll do some sparkle and stuff. Make sure you close up your paste. I do not have a card done with these, so once I do, I'll show you what my card was next week. I'll probably do it next week. Because my main thing was I wanted to kind of show you how to come up with some color. So let's do this. I'm going to put this underneath here. This is the dried one. And let's try different stuff on it. So let's try our regular Wink of Stella, and let's try our gold here. And I'm going to try, might as well try the green on the branches a little bit, right? And see. All right. You could have Versamark on it and then emboss it in white. See, that's a good idea, Renee. This one is dry all the way. So I could, let's leave the top part and we'll try that up there. But let's try first our, oops. Oh, this is brush only. That's why that's not Wink of Stella anymore. I use that to do coloring. All right, so here is our Wink of Stella. I like to squeeze it out a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's do that down. Ooh, that's a lot. Oh, look, it splashed. Ooh, that is really pretty. Okay, so let's do, oh, you guys. Okay, I got a lot on my brush right here. Let's see if I can get it off there. All right. I squeezed a little too much. Now if I, ooh, let's do this. Let's take this and, okay, this is our stencil here. Let's see. That's the way it goes right here. We're just, I took the sticky off, but let's just lay this down. And let's hold that down and brush it. Ooh. We'll do the bottom portion here in just the clear, which I'm really liking. All right, so there's our clear. Oh, let's just do this one too. All right, so that's clear. Okay, that is really pretty. So look at that. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is where I blobbed it. It dripped, but this over here is really, gosh, I don't know if you guys can. It's really, really pretty with the clear. Okay, so let's put that back on and let's try the gold. All right, let's see. This goes here. Where am I? Here. Here. All right, so let's try the gold one. But the clear on it is really, really, really pretty. All right, so here's the gold. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh. You know what? While this is wet, it's not as wet anymore. All right, I'm shifting. I think we should see if the embossing powder will lay on top of that right now. Don't you think? Let's just put this in here because it's wet. We got to shift for a minute while it's still wet. Where's my lid? Don't you think? All right. I do really like the Wink of Stella, but let's try white and see what we come up with. But so far, the regular Wink of Stella, I'll look at the gold in a minute, but the regular Wink of Stella is a good thing. Since this is wet, I don't know how wet it is, but we'll give it a try. So that means it's going to do our branches and the pine cone all at one time. Okay, so it looks like some of the ink down below is still a little bit like on there. So I have this little brush that I'm going to just kind of get some of it off. You don't need to get all of it because snow doesn't necessarily go on perfectly. But I want to definitely see the pine cone underneath. So I'm going to just tap off some of this. Like the early espresso was pretty dark. So what you could do is when you do this, I would let all your ink dry and then go back in and do that last bit with the paste. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right. All right, now for my tweezers. So right here at the bottom, there's none. So I'm going to try and get a good grab right there. Let me find my heat tool here. Underneath my glimmer trimmer. Now I don't know what this is going to do with the paste. So I'm going to do it from underneath. Oh no, I'm going to do it from on top because it's going to hit the paste first if I go underneath. And I'm going to really move this around and see what that does. I'm so worried the paste is going to start bubbling up. I was just looking, I'm like, this was white, right? Not clear. It is white. Now you could always dry your paste, but then like she said, you could dab your Wink of Stella on it. Oh, it's starting to turn. Oh, it is bubbling a little bit, which is okay because snow is bubbly, right? Let's just see. Ooh. And you can move it a lot because I don't want it to. Oh, I like it. Look what it's doing. But you got to make sure you get it all because otherwise you're going to have dry. And it's bubbling and I'm okay with that. As long as it's not toxic or anything. I don't think so. And I should have put a little more white on this side. I might have dried it already, but that's okay. Okay, so that's the thing. Do the paste and then add white embossing powder on top. But I would let the ink dry. Like I would probably let the ink dry like overnight even. Or, you know, like if it's the last thing you do in here and then you come back the next day, then do your paste. See, I didn't add enough up there and it kind of dried on me. So it does bubble up. The more you put the heat on it, the more it bubbles, which is fine. I think it looks more like snow. Wow. They don't all bubble up, and it seems like they go back down. Some of them. I'm going to hit them a little longer. I need to hit them a little longer. That's the thing, to make them bubble up a little bit. It looks way more like snow when you do that, and more white. And I'm going to do it on the leaves a little more. All right. So there is, let me see if I can put this, hold on, it's kind of bending. See if you can see it better. So that definitely adds the white to it. So let me show you. This was the white one, the one with the rock candy on it. Look at the difference on that white with the snow on it. And so that is with paste on it and then embossing powder. So let's go back to this one where we did some gold. I'll do a little bit more gold. All right, and now that we did the other one in white, I'm going to go back with more Wink of Stella at the top here, so you can really see it, because I really like this too, doing it with Wink of Stella. And I don't mind putting a lot on it, because I want to really see it, but you want to kind of push down your stencil so that it just goes where it needs to go and not squishes underneath everything. I'll add some on the leaves over here. And then I'll do the green leaves at the bottom so we can see what that looks like, because I forgot I was going to do green. This is a different green, but we'll get the idea. And I love this Peaceful Pine green, so maybe that's what I would do, is do Peaceful Pine. All right, so let's see what mess we made here. And then if you can't get to this right away, then what I do is take your baby wipe and lay it on here and just keep it moist so that it doesn't harden and get, you know, harder to take off. All right, so this is with the Wink of Stella on the green and the pine cone. And then the gold is the one that's in the middle. And then I put the Peaceful Pine on the green down here. I really like the Wink of Stella. That's not very clear. It's hard to see, but the gold is kind of, I think the gold ink would be fun to do on the last one to give the edges a little lighter color, to do ink, not to do ink on the pine cone. But then you've got this too, and it's hard to just do this part and not the outside part. But I do like the Wink of Stella a lot. So here is, where did it go? Here's our white one. Now, it is hard because, like I said, you can see all the little specks of white in there, and that's because the ink wasn't dry. And then this is the different Winkastellas and different things. The thing I'm curious about is the background here. There's a lot of white seen. Like this one looks okay, but once you add the white embossing powder on here, there's a lot of white. Let's see. That the green is, the snow is blending with the white, so it looks like a whole lot of white. And you kind of miss out on the detail of all that green. Where I like the detail of this. Now the one we just did today is this one. Now let's try something. Let's take our embossing buddy. Where's my embossing buddy? Oh, here he is. All right, let's try this. And so that we don't get the embossing powder everywhere. And let's put this guy away. All right. Okay, we're gonna now let's bring this back in. Look, I have glitter, I have everything on this, and it still works. It works for a long time. Like I've told you before, I just stick it underneath my glass mat and pull it out when I need it. All right, let's do this. All right, let's clean this up. And we're going to emboss right away and see what we get. All right. All right, so we're going to need our paste. Oh, let's just emboss with no paste. Like you get Michigan. Yeah, so we don't get snow. Let's see. Let me look at that for a second and decide. Okay, that is with paste. Let's just try embossing like she said. Let's try our Versamark. All right, let's put this on here. We were getting fancy with the paste and we probably didn't need to. All right, let's do this. And that, now you could always take a dauber and really squish that in there, but let's just do this because I can see it going on the paper. All right. All right, let's put that there. Lay that on there. Oh, my sticky is keeping it together. I have enough in here, I'm sure. Ooh, I think I like this. See, I think I was trying to get too fancy when this is actually what I'm sure was intended. But I thought, ooh, I'm going to try paste, and I'm going to try and give it some texture. And I actually, number one, this is way easier. Number two, I think it looks good. You don't have your extra, well, this one dried for a bit, but you don't have your extra ink all over. Now, I do like to go from underneath so that it, you know, any extra powder doesn't fly all over and get where it doesn't need to go. And so I tend to, oh, sorry, I'm off screen. So I tend to try to like to do that. Now this one, I feel like I did it a little too dark. My first coat of pecan pie, I wish was just a little bit lighter. But I like just the embossing powder the best. But we're going to try and put Wink Estella on top of the embossing powder. Let's see what happens. It might be too wet. Ooh, some of this I really inked really well. It's nice and smooth. Now, have you ever added embossing powder again? Like right here, I feel like it could have done a little bit more. Okay, because it was wet, right? Well, the middle part was heat. I didn't heat that again, but this part was. Oh, but see, now I got flakes. That was my bad. Let's see. Yeah, just a little bit. But, okay, that is just embossing powder, and it's nice and shiny. This, but you can see like on the outside where the lines are of the green on both sides of the stencil there, where the embossing powder is, where this is raised and you can't see it as much as you can here. I don't know. I like them both, but I actually like this color with the lighter caramel and this color with the lighter pecan pie in there. And then I really like the Wink Estella on there. So we should have done some Wink Estella on here without it on paste, but just on the project. Well, anyway, there's so many ways that we can play with it and come up with the method that you like best. I think this is way too much. It's really pretty, but I think it's way too much. It stayed white. I was hoping it would clear up, and then because it's just glue, and but it is white, so I think it didn't go as white as I was hoping, and it's more of a cloudy. This is too greenish-y, yellowy kind of looking. It's got that color. If it was a white, it would be better. I do like the snow with just the embossing powder is really pretty, but I think it takes a lot of the definition out on what you're doing, because I really like the look of the pine cone. And then this one, I really do like. You'd have to do it carefully and make sure your stencil's on perfectly. But just adding just that little bit of Wink Estella on there. Gosh, my picture is not focusing very well. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little better up close. There we go. So I think it's really pretty to add the Wink of Stella on it. It still gives it that frosty look, but it doesn't cover the image up, which I like. I like the gold color. All right, if you guys want to hang out, I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to add some gold as one of my colors. So as I move all this out of the way, you guys don't have to stay. I'm just continuing to play. I got to clean this one up. But this is how we figure out what we like, right? All right, so I'm saying paste is out because it's too lumpy. I'm not a super fan of that look. All right, so let's get my dry one here. All right. So now, back to stencil number 1. Oh, I need my sticky. All right. So let's put that here, this here. Whoop. Okay. All right, let's get this out of the way for now. And I think I'm going to start with Golden Glow and make that kind of my base. Let's see if I have a Golden Glow. I have a yellow. That'll work. All right, so let's start with this one. I just want to brighten it a little bit, I think. Now this may look terrible, but I like the idea. But we're going to do it darker, so it's a golden brown. So we're still going to make it a little darker, but it's a lot lighter than pecan pie. But I'm going to bring pecan pie in. All right, so I think that is a really pretty first color. So let's take a look. So that is Golden Glow. And it may look terrible. It may look like not even a pine cone when we're done, but we're going to try it. Because I would be trying this when we got off screen, so we might as well try it and see what it looks like. All right, I can finish these later. That is number 1. Number 2, we're going to bring in right here. Number 2, and we're going to do pecan pie. All right, pecan pie. Okay, I'm not going to do super dark. I want it all a little bit lighter. So let's see. And maybe that just looks like the sun is shining on it, but I don't know. What do you guys think so far? I kind of like the pecan, but let's wait till we finish it and see. All right, now we're going to go with early espresso. Yvonne, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so we have early espresso. We're going to do that with number 3. I went out and did some running around today. I had to return some Amazon stuff, and so I have been going and going, and I didn't think I was going to make it back on time. All right, so early espresso. We're going to go in with this pretty dark. And then I go back up and grab this extra ink and bring it down. You don't have to go in here so much. Once I do it 1 or 2 times, then I start kind of grabbing the extra ink everywhere. All right, that looks good. Number 1, it helps you take your ink off your mask. Number 2, it helps you save your ink and your ink pad. Sometimes I think I'm a little rough with my blending brushes and my ink pads. All right, so that is looking good. All right, let's change it up and do, just for fun, let's do Peaceful Pine. So I'm going to take this green and try to get off as much as I can of my mossy meadow. I just keep, now I'm rubbing really, really hard. If you were to take this and go on here, see, it's not that much. I'm really rubbing to get color off. So I think we're good. And we're gonna, oh, let's line this up because, wait a minute, where did my glue, where did my tape go? Oh, here's another one. All right. All right. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, so I'm not a big fan of the gold. So I think what we do is we're going to tone it down. I'm not going to add more pecan on. Let's take this off. But if we were going to tone it down, we could either do like a beige or we could, let's try, oh, let's see. Okay, we're going to try crumb cake. The issue with this is my brown I've been using. My brown, this one. So we're going to try to wipe off what we can. And it's okay if it's got a little more of a light brown on it. It's not a whole lot. Been watching from your Hi Rosemary. What is the name of the paste that you use? The paste I was using was, I tried the shimmer one, and I tried the regular one. It's just, let's see. The regular one is embossing paste, 141979. 141979 is that. All right, let's see. Who said it? Marcia. Marcia said try crumb cake. So let's try it. Okay, so we need number 1. This one. We're going to tone that down. Now, it's going to be on top of the gold, but it's all right. We're going to just see what it looks like. It may look horrible, but it's right. It's the whole point of trying it out, right? And now you have to remember, we are toning down all of these colors, not just the back one, because we've already put that on there. But we can try and get rid of some of the orange. I think the gold is just too much. All right, so that toned it down with crumb cake on top of the gold. Okay, that looks much better. Now that actually gives it that more goldy look, but not as yellow, but it's, let's see, where did all my pine cones go? Okay, so the one we did today, well here, this was a lighter one that we did, and that was just pecan pie. All of these were just pecan pie, but this one was kind of dark. This one was like this one was the one that I really liked, is that one. But I like that one too. This one actually looks really realistic, I think. So let's try that. Do you guys like that one better? This one? With that one is the gold with crumb cake over it. All right, let's see. I think that looks way better. But I still like the lighter version that I had done earlier. But I do like the crumb cake over that. And you're saying do the crumb cake by itself first? We can try that. Just tell me what you guys want me to try and I'll try it. All right, so that is, okay. We got to start writing this down. So this one is Golden Glow, golden with crumb cake with pecan, because I would do the crumb cake first, and then espresso. And then this one is peaceful for the color of the green. All right, let's try another one. All right, we're going to do crumb cake first with this one. All right, so let's do our crumb cake. Now, I know some people, when they do like a whole lot at one time, they'll do all of number 1 first, and they'll just go through and do all of number 1. Like I bent this right here. My little tab right here. I'm going to try and bend it back a little bit. There we go. And then they go back and then they do number 2. And then, I mean, which is fine, especially if you have, you know, a template, you can put it there and you mark it, and you can, your colors are all okay to do that. All right, let's see. Let's take off some of this. Now, the thing about using these and going to brown, and now we're going to a light brown, is you want to pick up more often. You don't want to rub too hard. because we want that lighter color on here. This is going to have some of my pecan on here, but it will be a lot lighter. If I push my brush too much, it's going to come out with a lot of my other colors. All right, I think this is going to be lighter. Pick up some more ink. All right, so that one I think is going to be good. Now this will be lighter, so let's see what we think. Ah! I was like, why is there green everywhere? All right, that's number one. Number two, it's here. Okay, so number two, do you want to go, what about using diamond dust? You know, Darlene, that would probably work too. I would be, well, diamond dust is white, so I think that would be good. I had dazzling diamonds, but I'd have to find it. All right, let's see. Should we do crumb cake again darker or go with, I think pecan pie, because I think we need to add some depth into this. All right, so now we're going to be doing pecan pie. Making it darker. Okay, I'm not going to go as dark as I have done in the past because we've got that lighter base. But that is a little darker. Now we could go with pecan pie and go with that as the darkest color and just go in darker. Or we can do early espresso. What do you guys think? Should we do early espresso or a darker version of pecan pie? Let's see, maybe number 3. Thanks, Yvonne. All right, number 3. No one's saying. So, pecan pie darker. I'm going to go early espresso, I think. But not as dark. All right, so it's not as dark as it was. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, that is pretty. All right, so that really lightens that up. See how you can tell on the back of my, I wasn't very careful drying off my, I wasn't going to do another one, but since I did. All right, so now we have green. This one with the lighter, let's see what Old Olive looks like. We've done Mossy Meadow. We've done Peaceful Pine, which I really like Peaceful Pine. Maybe I'll do Peaceful Pine again because I really like this green. It's kind of in between them both. So let's go back to Peaceful Pine. This is the last green I used. All right. Well, that's really pretty too. Actually, all the pine cones seem to have something special about each one. Oh, thanks, Barb. Yeah, I think, I mean, you can't go wrong with these stencils. They're absolutely beautiful. And no matter what colors you decide, like I said, I like the lighter. All right, I'm doing one more as soon as I can find a piece of paper. We're going to go with my little piece of paper here. All right, so this one was, where's my pencil? This one was Crumb Cake, Pecan, Espresso, and Pine. Okay, so that one was that. And then I'll show you my favorite. So that's these two. Okay, so that's these so far. And then we're going to go in with this one, with my little piece of paper I have left. And we're going to come in. See, now, are you guys wanting to put, oh, okay, we're going to do it when I'm done. We're going to put, I need to move it over because we've got all these leaves that we want to do. So I'm going to move it up. So we're just going to wing it. I'm not going to do the little marking right there because my paper is a lot smaller. All right, let's try this. We're going back to taking off a large amount of early espresso. And we're going with pecan pie. And I like to do it lighter than what I've been doing. The last one that we did was really dark, the pecan pie one. All right, now I gotta get my, there we go. I think that is dark enough. That is number 1. All right, this is our last one, but we're going to do Wink of Stella directly to our project, not on paste, and see what we come up with. All right, that's number 1. Number 2. Where am I here? Number 2. All right, number 2. You've got to move the green brush away because I almost picked it up to use it. Now this one I like to make it a little more like a milk chocolatey look, a light milk chocolate kind of color. All right, there's that one. All right, now number 3. So you just kind of, you're really close to the colors you had before, but not necessarily. I more look for the white on the outside to make sure that my stencil is in the right place when I'm not using the little notch on the top. All right, early espresso. This one, I make it more dark chocolate. The tape really does help. All right, there's that one. It's easy to get carried away and think, oh, I'll just make it a little darker, but you really don't need to. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, we're going to do our leaves, which is right here. So again, you're looking for those bumps. I'm going to put my tape down this time. And I think I am going to use Peaceful Green because I'm looking at the mossy meadow and it's really pretty, but I think this brightens it up a little bit with the peaceful pine. I just love this whole set. Oh, we haven't tried stamping it yet. Look at us. We're just going to town over here without stamping. All right, so we're going to have to stamp these and see what that looks like. You don't have to, obviously, but it will give it way more detail. My main focus was what colors of ink do we want to use, and what kind of frosted pine cone do we want. but I think we need to try and add our stamp to these and see what that comes out to look like. Okay, so this one is pecan pie. Oh, look at me. Let's learn how to spell pecan, and then pecan again, espresso, and pine. All right, so that is, I think this one is my favorite. Let's see. I like double pecan pie. I bet there would be a lot of oohs and ahs if a person got a box of those pine cones on cards. All the cards. There's a whole bunch of different ones, right? Okay, so there's that. And then here's the golden. Now this to me looks a lot like what the pecan pie would look like when I do it darker. But we used the golden first, the golden glow, and then crumb cake to tone it down after we did pecan and espresso. But I like this one because it's got a lot of really nice detail to it. And I don't think I've ever seen a pine cone that light. I think they're more like this color, at least here they are. And so I like this one a lot. But let's practice on this one and stamp, because I would obviously stamp for, well, shoot, let's just, let's see, where's our stamp? I haven't tried stamping at all, actually, I don't think. Maybe I did once. Nope, I've never used the stamp. So, let's do the stamp. So let's take our Pinecone stamp off. All right. So what I like to do is, for such a large stamp, is I'm going to use my Stamparatus. Okay, I'm going to wipe off any warehouse or factory residue off of the stamp. Okay, and instead of wiping it with linen, I like to, I do that once in a while, but I like to actually bring in paper and just make sure I wipe off any extra water or anything on it. Let's do that. Now let's see about lining this up with the blind person at the wheel. All right, we're going to do black because I like the crispness of the black. All right, so we'll practice with this one. All right, so here we go. All right, let's see what we can do. I should have my sticker underneath so it doesn't move. So let's hold on a second. Let's put our sticker. It's very thin, so hopefully it won't make a difference. Oh, you know what? Instead of the sticker, because it's got a line on it and I don't want to mess up my image, it is very thin, but this is better. Because now that won't move. All right, now re-ink. All right. I'm looking at the stem. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Without trying to drop this. I'm looking at the top and I'm looking at the bottom. Oh, this is, I'm barely holding on to the edges here, but we're just going to go for it. It may not be beautiful, but at least we'll get the idea, right? All right. Oh, yeah, you got to have the lines. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. Look how pretty it is with the lines. All right, let's try them all. Let's do this one. My favorite one. I like this one. That's my favorite. Of course, stamping ahead of time would be what you want to do. Don't do this because this is a nightmare. Got to hold on to those edges really close. And so I'm looking around the outside of my petals of my pine cone, and that's helping decide where to place this. But stamping first, I highly recommend. I was just trying to get the colors and stuff figured out, but stamping first would have been a good idea. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. That is just has a lot of detail. And then we might as well do this one since we're right here. Put it on your thing. So look at the pine cone. Look at your edge, especially right here and up here. And that'll really help you if you have to do it after like I'm doing. But I wasn't focusing on this. I was focusing on colors. So there was no need to do that. But we've got to see what it looks like, right? All right. So moving in. Checking my edges. It's really not that hard. If you look at this edge right here, this one, and these, and you can tell on the bottom where your stem is, it actually is pretty easy to add this after the fact. It would even be easier if I actually used my positioner, but all right. So there we go. There's the 3 different choices there. So which one do you guys like out of these the best? I did that one first. No, I did this one first, I think. This one second, and this one third. Now, we're gonna bring Wink Estella in now, just directly to our projects and see what, I think we agree, right, that the Wink Estella is better than the gold. That's what I want to use anyway, so let's give that a try. So let's do it on my favorite one, because this is the one I would be doing. All right, let's get our Wink Estella. And let's get our last stencil, which is right here. And we are going to go back to this guy. We're going to put our image down. We're going to close our ink. You like the first one. So you like this one the best? The dark one? Actually, it looks lighter on screen than in person. That one is really nice too. This one's my least favorite. I like the colors, but to me, it's just not a pine cone, image. But okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to put this on here. Where's my tape? Here's a little piece. All right. Get that right where we want it. All right. And we're going to do all of it. We're going to do the branches and the pine cone. Now, I'm going to hold this down close by. I can tell this is sticky. I don't think I cleaned it off. It has a Versamark on it. So give me 1 second. It is very sticky. All right. Make sure I don't have any lint for my tissue and stuff. I can still see like my glue and stuff that's on here. So what I usually do is I will take it into my bathroom and I'll put soapy water on it. And I actually use my scrubby and I will go on it if there's like some large amounts of paste or anything. This one doesn't, so the soap and water will be fine. But it helps. I'm going to bend this little guy back down. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's put this on. Get it where we want it. I think right there. And you can tell like some of the branches, you're like right underneath, like on the back, on the branches. And I think that's just because that's where they want the snow to be like hanging off of those, but we're not doing that. We're going to do Winkostella. So I'm going to try and push down where I can so that it's flat. We're going to do this whole one and let's see what it looks like. Now I don't want super thick Winkostella, but I need it to come out. I don't want to be rubbing my colors off. And you don't want it super thick because then it turns like a silver. And we don't want that. All right, we're going to do our branches. Now this would be time consuming if you want to do a bunch of them. A piece of baby wipe on there, or tissue. So this would be very time consuming if you wanted to do a bunch of your cards. But it's not hard. And I would rather squeeze some and pick some up off of your silicone mat versus squeezing more. This is a chore. Let's hope it comes out beautiful. All right, oh, there's one I missed. All right, I think I got them all. I think if I were to do this, I would do it just on the pine cone, maybe. Because the pine cone, it actually looks like it's on the branch, you know, on the petals of the pine cone, whereas on the branches, it just looks like it's randomly here and there. Although it's really pretty. You could easily just add a few little flecks on the branches. So there's the emboss, the Winkostella. You could try freehand with the white gel pen on the pine needles and emboss on the cone. Yeah? You know what you didn't try is craft white. Oh gosh, there's so many things to try. There are so many things. I do like that, but okay, let's try See, I'm just giving you guys a ton of ideas to try that you can keep going and going and going. There's so much to do. All right, this one. This one's getting soap. Okay, this one. Okay, so you're saying, you know what we could do? Let's see. I do too. This is such a fun set. You could try freehand on a white gel pen. Let's see. On the needles. Oh, and emboss the cone. Let's see. I haven't used my white pen in a little while. Warm it up. You could actually even probably put this on there. Oh, I think it's wet. You could probably put this on and even give yourself an idea of where to put your white. Of course, my white gel pen's not. Probably because the ink's still wet. Let's see. Oh, this gets stuck in here, so that's probably not the best idea. Well, anyway, I like that the stencil gives you an idea where to put it, but it's not wanting to. I think it's kind of thin. I don't know why it's not doing it. Oh, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. Ooh, I'm thinking white splatter and perhaps a bit of gold. Ooh, that's a good idea. White splatter would be really pretty. I need to get my pen rolling. It's rolling here, but it's not wanting to on here. Well, anyway. And then you could always take your Wink of Stella and just freehand it too. And just kind of add it to the edge of your petals. Just to add a little bit. Actually, I really like that. So you can kind of see just adding a little bit of Wink of Stella on your petals. So much easier. I just thought I'd give you oh, Carrie, please do. I just got my new die, so I'm gonna be working on that. But I mentioned earlier, I heard that you take the green shim off and you add a piece of cardstock and it works. So I'm going to try that next. I really like doing the Wink of Stella freehand. It's really pretty. All right, I think that is enough. And that's just on the pine cone. But there's the pine cone. Let's see. Place dye on when red light is solid. Once orange light is solid, put the foil on the cardstock on the foil shim. The number 3 plate, not the hot foil. Yeah, not the spacer. That's what I understood. Oh, the foil shim. Oh, from the cut and emboss. An extra piece of cardstock and run through the embossing machine. Also white shimmer paste on the edges for a snowy look. Okay, Carrie. I had heard don't use the shim from the hot foil and to use cardstock shim. But using the other... Oh, wait. And add hot foil shim and the number 3 plate. Oh, the other plate. I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. I'm going to try that. I've heard a couple different things that works, so I'm going to try that and see how that works. All right, everybody. Well, there's a bunch of different options, so many different things that you could try and see what works for you, what you like, what's the look you like. I have to say, on screen, I'm looking at my screen that you're looking at, and it looks a little, some stuff looks a little different than it does in person. So give it a try. This, I think, is really messy to go in between. This is a lot neater and nicer looking to add just that little bit of shimmer on there if you want that. So totally up to you on what, you know, what works for you and what you like. Honestly, nobody that's receiving my card knows that they're called frosted pine cones. So I may just end up doing my pine cone without any white on it because I just like it like that. But, all right, now you guys have me thinking, what if we took, this is terrible, I could be here all night. What if we took, this is really going to be messy, but let me see what I have over here. Where is my, oh, I don't have any right here handy. I was going to say, maybe my white re-inker. I don't think my white. So like if we used, this is, I need to re-ink this, but let's just say that we put this on, well, we'll just put it on top of this one. Put it on here because this has Wink Estella on it, but that's okay. And let's take this and let me see if I can even get any white because I don't know where my re-inker is at. I removed a bunch of stuff around and who knows. All right, and then we just add our white dauber. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not going to put it back in because this had glue on it at one time. I don't want to add a bunch in my white ink. But let's just say we did that. Oh, look at that. So this could be something that you could, you know, if you had a lot of ink. This, I don't have very much ink on that. But you could just use a white dauber with your white. And I like that. Because it just looks, and you can actually make it thicker. Mine's not thick at all because this is, I don't know how long this white's been sitting here not used, but just a thought on that if we found if you have your white inker, I would put a little bit on your silicone mat and then take your dauber and try that and put it on there. But remember, that does take a long time to dry. And so that would be something that you would want to put on and then just set it aside so that it could dry, because it will take a while to dry. Let's see. Also, white shimmer paste on the edges. No, Carrie, that's fine. We actually talked about that a little earlier, and I'm going to work on it this weekend because I did get another die. And so I'm going to see if number one, I'm going to do it like normal, see if it's any better. And then number two, I'm going to try all the options that I've heard that work, and including that, and see what I can come up with. And we'll talk about it on Monday. Oh, let me look at my calendar. Monday. Yes, I will be here Monday. Thanks, Crystal. Put glue on the edges here and there and sprinkle glitter over the glue. So that's Audrey, that's exactly what I did on this one. Is I put, but I didn't do here or there. I did the stencil, and I added rock candy on there, the glitter from the rock candy glitter on top of glue. And so I dabbed glue through the stencil, and then I added rock candy. And I think it's just a little too much. I wish it would have been a little whiter. So that didn't work for me anyway, not those two products that I used. It has to be a clear glitter. Yeah, that. And rock candy is clear, but I think it's too clear. It's not white. It's just clear. Oh, thank you, Charm. Removing the green shim and replacing with cardstock. Yeah, that's the one I heard, Carrie, is replace it with cardstock. Versa mark and white embossing pattern. Patricia, I did that. It is, so we did it on we did two things. This one was actually paste with embossing powder. And then it kind of bubbles up a little bit and looks kind of realistic. Then this one we did Versamark and embossing powder, and it's super shiny. I don't know if you can see the shine on it, but it's super shiny. And that one looks good too. I just think there's a lot of white behind the greenery. And so it just kind of fades out the image a lot. I really like the look of the image. You're going to have to ignore the Wink of Stella, but I really like the image to where you can actually see the pine cone. So until I come up with another idea on what I like. Oh, this one. So look what happened to this one. This is the Wink of Stella one that I put on here just straight. Oh, no, I didn't. That's the one with the white. That's the Wink of Stella. This is the one with the white. I was like, ooh, look how it changed, but we inked white there. But if I had more white, I'm going to find my re-inker, and then I will post a picture of that on my blog when I post all of our different things that we played with. And then we'll see it. I'll probably do it on this one so you can see the white once I find my re-inker. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. I hope any of this helped you, what to or not to do, and what look you like the best, which I think is helpful. And now hopefully you have an idea of the colors that you want to use. Like I said, I really like you guys said, the double pecan pie. You called it the double pecan pie. That's the one I like the best. That's the one I've been doing all along. Stamp first. So if you're going to do a bunch of them, stamp them all up, then color them. Stamping afterwards is not hard, but it's going to be easier to line up everything with your stamped image. So I would suggest you do that first. Anyway, it was a lot of fun playing with it and giving it a try. And my husband did pop his head in, and I was talking and continued talking to you. And he was like, and he closed the door. So have fun. Let me know what you guys do and what works for you and what you liked the best, because I am all for continuing to try different things. I think I have my collar down. I just need to figure out what other techniques that I want to do to add white if I decide to continue and add white, because I kind of like it is without it. But I have to, unless I come up with something that I'm going to try the white ink and find my re-inker and really put white on it. And I think that might be the answer. All right, everybody, I will see you Monday. We will talk about the new foil die that I was having issues with, the Twinkling Tidings, I think it's called. And I will do that on Monday in addition to whatever I come up with to create with on Monday. Don't miss bingo. There are some amazing projects that I have for you. I can't wait to share. That is next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And again, the paper share, you have until August 31st to get that into me, and I will get those ordered right away and back to you. So thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye, everybody.